Okay guys, let's talk about studying for COMLEX Level 3. So I took COMLEX Level 3 very early in my intern year of residency. I did not take USMLE Step 3, but I did take USMLE Step 1 and 2 along with COMLEX 1 and 2. So if you are a DO, most of the time you don't need to take USMLE Step 3 when you take COMLEX Level 3, because it's at that point just to finish up your board exams and, solidify you being in residency training. I guess some fellowships might care about that. In PM&R, at least, in my specialty, no one cares about it, but I would definitely just talk to people in your specialty to see if you need to take USMLE Step 3 for whatever fellowship you may want to go into. But for me, I only took COMLEX Level 3, and so I'm going to be talking about what I did to study. And I have my laptop here, so if I'm looking over here, that's why. So let's just first start with why I took it early. I actually took it in October of my intern year. So just, a few months in to my intern year. And I did that because I was really close out from medical school. I still had all of that medicine in my brain. I was doing medicine rotations during my intern year, but I knew that starting my PGY2 year, I wasn't going to be doing all of these medicine rotations. In fact, I'd probably forget a lot of the medicine. And so I wanted to just take COMLEX Level 3 early, get it over with, and then I could just focus on residency. So my next point is to keep things super simple for COMLEX Level 3. This test is not like USMLE Step 1 or 2 or COMLEX Level 1 or 2. This is basically COMLEX Level 2, except spread out over 2 days and sprinkle in some cases. That's basically what it is. I did not have the same experience studying for Level 3 than I did Level 1 and 2. Like the whole take a month, to study and all that, really hardcore, do nothing but study. I didn't have to do that. So I will tell you what I did, but I kept things super simple by picking one question bank and sticking to that one question bank as my main resource. I personally used TrueLearn for their COMLEX Level 3 question bank, and I felt like they did the best job of providing really thorough explanations. And then at the end, they would provide a summary statement that kind of helped you wrap up why that question was important and what that question, the goal of that question, what you need to remember from that question, which made it really helpful when I was redoing questions that I missed I could skip past the explanation that I had read before and just go to that bottom line and, okay, this is what I missed, this is what I need to know, and if I need more information, then I can dig further in that deep explanation. So I started studying 2 months before my exam date, and I finished the TrueLearn COMLEX 3 question bank 2 weeks before my test date, which gave me 2 weeks to review missed questions or topics that I didn't know, and OMM specific topics like viscerosomatics and Chapman's points, which I have got some great videos for those too that I'll link, just YouTube videos that I'll link in the caption here for you. My schedule for those 2 months before my test really consisted of me waking up before work, maybe 1 or 2 hours before work, to get in a question set and review it. Usually a 40 question set, and review the whole thing. And then in between patients, I would actually do, sets of 5 or 10 questions just to knock out some more of those. The first month that I was studying, I was kind of studying pretty slowly, and then I really ramped things up that month before the exam. I also found that reviewing questions happened a lot quicker with COMLEX Level 3 in comparison to COMLEX Level 1 or 2. I think because you already know these concepts so well now, once you get to this point, that it's just a lot easier to remind yourself of things rather than starting from zero and relearning an entirely new concept. At this point, it's more of oh, okay, I forgot that, but that makes a lot of sense. And now I'm reminding myself of that, storing that information back into my brain. I also didn't take too much time to worry about the cases. I found that the cases really just depend on your general medical knowledge and your ability to kind of problem solve and think through a case. And just from my medicine months during my intern year, I was able to kind of get that that real life practice and apply that to the cases. But TrueLearn did a really good job of actually mimicking what the real cases were going to be like on COMLEX Level 3. So I just did all of those cases and then I redid some of the harder ones like a couple days before the exam. I'm not gonna lie, when I left the test, I felt horrible about the cases. Like, you just kind of feel like they're so vague and you can't go back and change your answer. So sometimes they'll say things later in the cases that make you wonder if you answered correctly first. But most of the time they're, at least, okay, disclaimer, I have no idea how they score that. I remember when I was studying, I couldn't even find anywhere how they score that. But what I think is to be true is that you just have to show your train of thought and explain yourself. And if you can just show a good train of thought that your basic medical knowledge, then you're going to do fine. Like I said, I felt horrible after I came out of the test about the cases. The cases are what I thought I bombed. And that was like my highest scoring section. So I wouldn't worry too much about those. Just study for this board exam like you would any test. As far as other resources I used in addition to the TrueLearn question bank, I referenced UpToDate in like my first aid from step 1 that I had annotated like crazy, just if I needed to refresh myself on something, but I didn't really use any other resources, every day or with every question. I just kind of supplemented whatever I couldn't find in the question bank. If I needed more explanation, then I would go search for it in some other source. But that really was kind of the extent of the resources that I used. Let me know if you have any questions about how I studied or anything I didn't address in the comments below, and let's have a conversation. Good luck and happy studying.